I certainly don't know at the moment if India continues to import Iranian crude. There are many ways to import Iranian crude all around the world. A lot of it won't be labeled Iranian by the time it arrives in your country, hence a lot of the confusion out there. But I will say that the diversification strategy overall has been a wild success for India. India, from Narendra Modi throughout the administration, has made it very clear that it has a national imperative to bring in the most affordable energy supplies, beyond crude oil, by the way, to make sure India's economy is supported by the cheapest available possible energy forms. Using that last dip in prices that we saw between March and end of May, India did succeed in bringing in more supplies, notably from Argentina most recently. And that whole diversification strategy is just making sure that Indian importers are able to bring in crude from whoever the most competitive supplier is, be it Russian, be it American, be it Argentinian. So in that regard, I would say they've been successful. India is playing a very canny game to try and make sure it has available to it the cheapest possible supplier of oil or natural gas.
Yes, and it was interesting that Prime Minister Modi a couple of months ago was in Saudi Arabia to really consolidate that energy relationship and cooperation. And speaking of which, Amin Nasser, Saudi Aramco's CEO, speaking in KL, history has shown that when conflicts occur, he says, the importance of oil and gas can't be understated. And Amin Nasser going on to say, we are witnessing threats to energy security in real time. Given that backdrop, Dave, how close or how far away is India to energy independence?
Well, one of the things that we track very carefully is the work that goes on in India around developing a national framework for domestic energy supplies. And a lot of that will boil down to the successful industrialization of renewable energy, solar power, hydropower, and wind power. And that is, despite strong government backing and strong private sector backing, it's a long journey with lots of peaks and troughs along the way. So the only way India will get energy independence truly is by building out domestically supplied renewable energy sources and, of course, expanding local oil and gas production, which is underway. India will always import more oil and gas than it produces, at least for the next 20 years. So that renewable energy push is critical. And there are some tricky moments going on right now with finding supply chain resilience and off-takers for renewable power. That is a barrier right now. Because remember, the Indian economy is especially a cost-sensitive economy.
That's such a great point, Dave. And Germany's pro-renewables energy policy and the banning of nuclear power illustrated how all forms of energy need to be part of this transition. So this is the dilemma that global policymakers are facing. For India, how are they balancing the low-carbon future with supply security and affordability?
Right. So India is constantly moving fairly nimbly between oil and gas, renewable energy, and we must call out coal as well as an important part of building out its national energy resilience. Now, coal is about affordability. Oil and gas is about immediate economics, and renewable power really is about trying to decarbonize the economy and promote national energy security. It's tricky to get all those three things going at the same time.
Let's bring in the upstream side of the equation. You've done a lot of work on this. Exploration activity is dwindling globally. It seems like all the low-hanging fruit has been taken, and prospectivity is getting increasingly challenging. Does India present an opportunity for the international oil companies, and how does that square with the national oil companies' domestic priority to build national national energy security?
Yeah. Well, India has done a lot of great work in the last 6 years from an exploration and production perspective anyways, on streamlining and making more market-oriented its upstream E&P sector. So at India Energy Week just a couple of months ago in Delhi, you could feel the renewed interest and money being spent on revisiting the actually relatively rich sources of prospective oil and gas within India. And there's a guaranteed market for that when it comes to market. So the work that India has done around streamlining policy and making the actual sellable prices more market-oriented have spurred the interest in developing oil and gas within India. The challenge there, of course, is that Indian oil and gas reserves are relatively small compared to both what it needs and what the global energy market could offer alternatively. But India has made great progress in building up interest in investing in its own sector.